Hi guys. Not been doing much VC wise for the last few weeks. Had a really busy day, busy couple of weeks with all the election stuff at work, and then I've been on holiday for a week. We went to a tiny little island in the Hebrides down the west coast of Scotland called Oronsay, which has a population of about four, maybe five people. So I've been there for a week. Well, it was good as a week anyway. So it's amazing, an absolutely amazing place. But anyone that's more interested can look it up online. Um, it's kind of northwest of Islay and Jura. But anyway, as a lot of you know, normally when I go away, I normally have a day to do some record shopping. But obviously, where we went this year, there wasn't really any shops. So I nipped into HMV on the way back as we were coming through Inverness, and picked up a couple of things, both by the same band. Well, picked up a CD as well. But, yeah, so the records I picked up were this one, which is the Beach Boys Party. This is the Uncovered and Unplugged. So most of you are probably familiar with the Beach Boys Party album, which is a kind of strange, semi-live mishmash of some of them kind of almost parodying themselves, and some of their favourite covers of the time. There's some Beatles songs on this, and a great cover of The Times They Are Changing. This album's probably most famous for having that kind of live version of Barbara Ann on it. But this, the original album, they recorded some of it was kind of stopgap. They were looking for an album. They'd already released 2 albums that year, I think, and they needed to release something else. So this came out. So they recorded some of their favourite tracks and things, and then everyone that I think was involved in the recording went back into the studio, and I think they listened to it on headphones and then kind of interacted, and them clapping along and singing along and cheering was then overdubbed. So it sounded like, if you put the record on, the idea was it sounded like you were at the party as well. So this is kind of this is that album, but minus the overdubs. So it's just the recording of them singing their songs, and it's a kind of, I know it's not one of their best albums. Beach Boys Party isn't one of their best albums, but this is a bit of a revelation, hearing it without all the kind of overdubs and stuff added to it. And like I said, the version of The Times They Are Changing that's on this is fantastic. So I'm really pleased to have picked this up. Another Beach Boys item that I picked was this single. I haven't listened to this yet. Still got the price tag on. In fact, this was, as you can see, limited to 1 per customer. This has got God Only Knows and Wouldn't It Be Nice. I presume this is a tie-in because I think it's the 50th anniversary of Pet Sounds, and there was a kind of Pet Sounds set there, but it was pretty expensive. So, but I was pleased to have got this. So that was cool. the other thing I picked up in there was this CD of the Kinks, Village Green Preservation Society. This is the deluxe edition, but it was like £7 or something. So I don't often buy CDs, but if I see things like this, a good deal, I will pick them up. Now, I know all my last videos are generally things that I bought off eBay or online, and you know, second-hand kind of interesting artifacts. And I always say that I struggle to buy new releases, but this video, I should say, they're all new releases. I'm sure this has probably been shown a few times now. This is a new Radiohead album, The Moonshaped Pool. It's got this nice kind of silver embossed text on the cover. Nice gatefold sleeve. Pretty much a standard fare for Radiohead. You know, I loved OK Computer, and then Kid A and Amnesiac was such a kind of leap forward for them. But their kind of progression now has really slowed down, and they've kind of found this, what I think they presume is a winning formula, and have stuck to it. This is the standard edition. I think there was a limited one as well, possibly, that was maybe on different coloured vinyl. I'm not sure, but there's also the deluxe box set version that you can pre-order, and I have that pre-ordered. But I picked this up in the meantime because I'm a Radiohead fan, and I like their stuff. And another album that I picked up is this one, which is the new Kula Shaker album. Kula Shaker, this is K 2.0. Their first album was just called K, which I loved. I loved that first album of theirs, and I really liked the second one as well. But I think they fell out of favour when they tried to reclaim the swastika as a good luck symbol, and I think they did a gig with giant swastikas at the side of the stage and got branded Nazis, which maybe wasn't the sharpest thing to do. But I was a bit kind of disappointed with this, because after the cut, I think this is more to do with age as opposed to quality. I think when they were younger, their first couple of albums had a bit more go to them. This sounds like they've held back too much, I think. It's still enjoyable, but not quite as it's not as either out there rocking and psychedelic, or it's not as mystical and spiritual, maybe, for want of a better word, than their earlier stuff. It's kind of caught somewhere in the middle, but that could be a fault more of the record company as opposed to the artists themselves. But I'm still pleased I've picked it up. I don't have their first two albums on vinyl. I always kind of kick myself that I never picked them up. But yeah, Kula Shaker 2.0, worth a listen, but maybe I wouldn't suggest anyone to rush out and buy it. check it out first. And finally, a book that I picked up, which I saw advertised. It was one of those books that I saw on the kind of not sale page but reduced, which is The Greatest Albums You'll Never Hear, which is slightly misleading because some of them have kind of been released, but it's basically albums that were shelved for whatever reason. So what have you got here? The Kid's No Good by Barry Gibb. A lot of these are things that were recorded. Wicked Lester. Some Bruce Springsteen. I seem to be flicking to the information pages as opposed to the actual. And it's kind of done chronologically, so you've got a lot of stuff from the. There we go. So we've got Black Gold by Jimi Hendrix. I've not really read this. I've kind of dipped in and out of it, but that's has a David Bowie album that was kind of shelved, and I think then he moved on to make Diamond Dogs. Homegrown by Neil Young. Some of these were I think things that were thought to be finished, and then the artists maybe had a different idea, so lots of the tracks were re-recorded, but it's got some Beatles sessions, which I don't know whether there's a fair one if it's not an actual album. Kraftwerk, Prince, Dream Factory. We've got some 90s stuff. Weezer. Jeff Buckley. There's some Madonna. Veronica Electronica album. Van Halen. So I mean, this is. I think this got one of the ones I read was the Jay-Z's Grey album, which is the Jay-Z Black album, kind of with samples of the Beatles' White album. That he didn't get permission to use, but then I think subsequently it did actually get released. I think you can still find it online. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. 13 minutes, it's probably plenty long enough. It was good to see Fred and Andreas, the Grecian Thunder, making video, albeit Andreas' one was very short, but his Moog did look very cool. Anyway, Tour de France has come back on the telly, so I'm going to go and watch that for a minute. So yeah, love to hear your comments, and take care.